It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And also we have the Whoa, wait a second. Where's Merman?
He's working hard for his money. So hard for it, honey.
I'm sorry, so there's no Merman?
There is no Merman.
Okay, well, everybody might as well stop listening.
That's right. It's, you know what? We're not going to get a Merman minute. We're not going to get, what's amazing Merman predict?
Wow, we don't even have amazing Merman predictions?
Nope. We got
Well, why are we even doing this today, then?
Let's turn everything off.
Yeah, we'll power through, but
okay.
Whatever.
Well, you know what? We haven't talked to everybody in 2 weeks, so, you know, between you and me blabbing through this whole episode, there wouldn't have been any time for Murray anyway.
All right, fair enough. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film, just like David did this week. He hasn't given us the movie yet, but he has bought us a movie rental. So
what?
Thank you. Yes. David sent us money, and he said, this is basic, and I don't know if that meant us, but then he said, but I love your podcast. So, and we love you, David, because you know what? The thing we love more than this podcast is money. So anybody who wants to give it to us, we're happy. Yeah, so anyway, you can dare us to see a movie if it's played in cinema anywhere in the world, and it can be any kind of movie, because we'll watch it, even if it's a kid movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Or a conversion film.
Yep.
Or Fast and the Furious franchise, or even a Bad Boys movie, except for now we've seen them all, so you can't dare us to see those crappy films anymore. So just pick another one that's crappy, like those.
Yep.
Right?
Sure, why not? Hey.
Nice, perfect timing.
Yeah.
What? This is really groovy, actually. We never get to here, because usually we're done all this, but this feels like it's an alarm for your senses. It's like, everybody's ready for this. It's like an alarm.
So there's no Merman predicts?
No, nothing, honey.
So I shouldn't be pitting this.
You know what? Let's play it. What would the amazing man predict if he was here this week? You see, what would the amazing man predict? Would he predict a rage?
It's not the same without him looking at you with disdain.
Yeah, and complaining. I hate this music. This is the worst segment that we have. Rawr. Or do my best Eeyore. Actually, you do a better Eeyore than I do. Do your best Murray as Eeyore.
Why are you putting me on the spot?
Oh, bother.
Oh, bother.
This music
is terrible. I lost my tail.
There you go. Murr, we miss you. And we're not going to see Murr for a bunch of weeks because he's got jobs. He's working. He's working for film.
How many jobs does he have?
He's now officially got 4.
4 jobs.
Again, like he has 0 or 4. That's kind of the magic number with the Murr. So it's like, Murray, are you working? No, I can't afford anything. Now I've got 4 jobs. I can afford everything.
Yeah, there you go.
Good times. All right, so we have a couple of movies that we saw the previous week that we didn't get to talk about.
Yes, first of them was a kiddie movie, because now we watch everything.
That's right, apparently. And
even if it's a kiddie movie.
That's right. Or a movie that looks so bad that it was made for TV, or conversion flicks we're going to see. And rom-coms.
Rom-coms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there'll be lots of those. No more avoiding the rom-coms.
Ugh. Or the Christian. I don't know what's worse, the Christian conversion films or the rom-coms. Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, tough to say.
The one I'm most excited though is the kids movies though, because those are going to be better than the other ones.
They're going to definitely be better than the other ones.
Speaking of that,
Inside Out 2 is the one we're talking about. I think it's still number 1 at the box office, so this might still be topical, even though it's a couple weeks old.
Yeah. You know, I don't think a lot of our listeners go to kids movies. They probably listen to us because we chose not to do kids movies.
Yeah, well, tough.
David, tell us if you like kids movies when you send us something.
There you go. So yeah, this is Inside Out 2, and it is a sequel to Inside Out.
Not Inside Out 1.
No, it's just called Inside Out.
Oh.
And this is Inside Out 2, which is the sequel. The whole thing is same idea as the first one. You got this kid, and we're going through, we're seeing her insides.
Yes, and then we also see her outside.
Which is kind of a metaphor for her emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, you got all the big hitters, but this time we get a little, the big hitters were like anger and fear and what else did we have? The first Sadness was in the first
and joy.
one. And joy. Yeah, joy was a big one, played by Amy Poehler.
She's the biggest one.
But this time we get a little anxiety.
Ooh.
And embarrassment.
He's so cool.
Embarrassment's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, basically same idea as the first one, although now she is what is she, like
pubescent?
13, 12,
pubescent.
13? I don't know. What would she be?
She's physically pubescent because they press the puberty button.
They press the puberty button.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what is that? Does that happen when, like, you're 26?
I don't know. It could. I still haven't hit puberty, so I'm waiting for that to happen.
At any rate,
my balls have dropped, but there's no hair on them.
Mine won't stop. Mine won't stop dropping, Jim. Sorry, what were we talking about?
We were talking about our balls, but puberty, it comes, I think, depends on who you are, but it can be as young as 10, probably.
So basically, exact same setup as the first one, only she's older now. Except that this one takes place at a hockey camp.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird, because I didn't think hockey was that big a deal, but I guess it's...
Hockey's cool.
I guess, well...
I mean, we know that. We live in Canada.
Is hockey cool?
It's pretty damn cool.
Well, it's cool because when you're in the arena,
it's on ice.
It's on ice, but I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, hockey.
I love hockey. It's
Hockey
the only real sport.
me.
It's the only true sport there is, but it's my opinion.
It's the only real sport.
Soccer's probably a real sport.
So then she went to the only real sport camp.
That's right, which is hockey. A close second would be soccer.
So it's not the only real sport.
Yeah, there's other ones, but there's a lot that people claim are sports, but they're not sports.
So yeah, same thing as the first one. You get to run through the emotions. We get to see, her in her everyday life and how these emotions take over every now and then, and how it affects things. And Amy Poehler's back as Joy. She, is a voice actress. I don't know. She doesn't do a lot for me. But yeah, she's fine. Just like in the first one, Lewis Black tends to steal every scene that he's in as Anger. Casting Lewis Black as Anger is kind of a no-brainer, but it's also genius.
Yeah.
This time around, though, we get Paul Walter Hauser as Embarrassment, who just does a fantastic job.
He doesn't say much.
He doesn't say much. But,
does he say anything?
Oh yeah, he says stuff,
okay.
but it's the way he says it.
Yeah, well, that's with him with everything.
And then we get Maya Hawke. That would be Ethan's daughter.
Oh.
Yes, as Anxiety.
Nice.
Which we didn't have before. So
no, we didn't.
Exciting.
That happens in puberty, I guess.
Does it?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I thought you hadn't hit puberty.
I haven't ever had anxiety, so I wouldn't know.
Never in your life?
No, because it comes during puberty.
Anyways, this was a kid's movie.
Yeah. So what was it?
It was well, and it had some funny moments. I mean, Anxiety did nothing for me, but Embarrassment was funny. Anger was funny.
Yeah.
Were they funny enough to make this not a rage is the question.
I mean, here's the thing. When we review kids' movies, we're not kids, so you have to still judge it on whether you were entertained,
Personally,
not whether or not this was good for kids.
I was entertained just enough to give it a meh.
All right. Well, that's a win for Disney is what I would say. But
that's all they need.
Yeah, exactly. When I want to know, though, what I really want to know is, when did kids' movies get so fucking complicated? I mean, you see this besides, say, something like Snow White, where all you had was a witch, a boy to kiss, and you give your identity and a linear storyline that is kind of boring in comparison. This story has depth of concepts and adult humor and complexity, where even I'm going like, what the fuck is happening sometimes in this movie? When I watched this, I hadn't seen the original yet, so of course I have to go back and rewatch it. And you realize what's happening pretty quick in this. You got all these emotions. Okay, well, in the first one there was 5, which you've talked about: anger, sadness, joy, fear, and disgust.
We only added 2 though, didn't we?
There was 3 that were added. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got anxiety, embarrassment, and the one that she was like emo.
Oh yeah. What was she?
I don't know. She was emo. You got computer stuff. Look it up.
Emo.
On seeing this, I'm actually not sure this was truly another kids movie. Most of the kids in the cinema when I saw this were probably 13, 14 or so. I mean, I guess they're still classified as kids.
And we went to like a 10 o'clock showing, and there was a bunch of teenagers.
And it was at 9. Yeah, it was 9:15 at night, and there was a bunch of teenagers.
Was it 9:15?
9:15 was our starting, yeah. I don't feel little kids are going to have a clue what's actually happening in this. The ideas introduced are far ahead of what, say, a 6 or a 7-year-old can grasp. However, it's quite make-believey, and the concept of emotions running your consciousness is a little oversimplified at times. I mean, until puberty, she has 5 emotions. That's what they're telling us. She only has 5 emotions. Because up until puberty, you've only got 5, which is still what I only have.
Yes.
Right? I mean... so when you get puberty, you only get 4 more. So at puberty, you have 9 emotions. That's it. Altogether, though, I thought this was adult funny enough that I laughed and felt the emotions that I think they wanted us to feel through this.
Yeah.
So as well, for me, it was meh. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. No, I'm watching it and I'm like, at no point was I'm like, man, why are we here? I was like,
I wasn't. I didn't.
Fine.
It's better than a lot of movies we've seen. I can tell you that. So one of the couple things to unpack.
Better than the movie we saw this week.
Yeah,
better than a couple of movies we saw.
Maybe don't spoil anything. So the flirting between sadness and embarrassment, though, although it was subtle, I was just thinking, if they had sex and then they had a baby. I'm thinking that the baby between sadness and embarrassment might be called fetish. What do you think?
Quite possible.
Right? I mean, when you put those two together, sadness and embarrassment, that usually turns into a fetish. So that's the version I want to see. I want to see them have embarrassment and sadness.
She's only going to get older.
That's right. So when they have that baby.
When she's, when they do the 18, 19, 20-year-old version.
Yeah.
You got something to look forward to there, Jim.
Finally going to get Disney fetish.
Plus Disney's, they've apparently this new Wolverine Deadpool thing is it's pretty racy from what I hear. So maybe that's the direction Disney's going.
Maybe
we're going to get Inside Out 3,
and it's going to be the cartoon porn version.
Yeah,
well, that's the one I want. So the other thing I always thought was hilarious, and I think both of us couldn't stop laughing at this, which has to be mentioned, is when Anger fist fucks Pouchy's mouth.
Yes. Oh yeah, Pouchy.
I thought I would never stop laughing.
That's why this was like a high meh, because Pouchy is amazing.
And then when Anger fist fucks his face, it was just like the best scene in a cartoon ever.
Relentless with it. Relentless. Just boom, 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 boom. Oh man,
Pouchy was loving every minute of it.
He meant it.
He was loving. He was fetishing off that.
What was the other thing that was? It's obviously based on Blue's Clues. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's a spin-off of it.
Yeah. What was the other guy's name?
I don't know. The
non-Pouchy.
Whatever. Bluey. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, the other emotion was ennui.
Oh, there you go. Which is that an emotion?
I didn't think
It's a French
so.
emotion. Only French characters get that.
What is it? What does that even mean in French?
It means oh yes.
You're Canadian.
Right? Ennui means oh yes, doesn't
But
it?
no, well, it's ennui, E-N-N-U-I.
Oh, so yeah, I don't.
It's not E-N.
I don't speak that much French.
Space O-U-I.
Oh, so oh, okay. Well, thanks for
I feel like we've
clarifying.
talked about this too much.
Yeah, we have. But you know what we haven't talked enough about is Red Fever.
Red Fever.
Yes. So this doc is about cultural appropriation, indigenous pride, historical knowledge, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It takes us through fashion, sports, politics, and nature. We go from Iqaluit to Igloolik in Canada to the U.S., where most of this film actually takes place. And I know as far as indigenous people are concerned, they don't really see nation lines like our colonizing people that we are. So, yeah, it's. I got the feeling this was more geared towards an American viewer, although we got Canadian stuff in there as well because he's from Canada. There will be a lot of white colonial males who will watch this and either feel threatened or challenged about its content. I have to admit, at times I started down that path also. Ultimately, though, this film, I feel there is there to show us one major point, which I have brought, or should say, which I've bought into for a long time. We would have been better off if the colonists did not do what they did, and instead they actually try and learn more from the indigenous people, because they could have taught us a lot more than we taught them, which I still believe to this day. If this would have happened, I think maybe that we wouldn't be in the existing shitstorm of political crap fest that we are in now. However, I think the culture which all Europeans came from, that of a monarchy where fundamentally you have people better than others, tends to breed a lack of how things could have been better. But if your culture started with everybody being equal and all people in the tribe are honored for who they are, wouldn't that be a much better place that we could live in right now?
Yep.
And that's what this doc is telling us. I love the education of the historical items that I am positive was a learning experience for pretty much everyone seeing this. I think there are some important takeaways from this that, to be honest, I didn't see why there was such issues at first. But as the film continued, I slowly realized that appropriation looks different depending on what side of the fence you're looking at. This film does give a lot of information to us in a short period of time. This is another doc that is trying to get its message to us in a tight 1 hour and 45 minute message. The issue is it needs to be a mini-series to truly do these issues and messages justice. I like the learning, but the film takes single moments in history and tries to prove a very broad point. I liked it. It was meh. I got some unpacking, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was... Yeah, I also liked it. And there's so much in it.
Yeah.
But it's like, just like you were saying, like why when they looked at sports, they focused so much on just Jim Thorpe. Mm-hmm. There was so much more they could have done with that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
and they must have spent like at least half of the whole sports thing on the forward pass in football.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of cool, but that's kind of something that maybe you stick in.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, well, the forward pass, I mean, yes, they did it, but it's still a white guy that came up with that. So I'm not sure that was the best example.
Yeah.
We should have maybe focused on, all the things that Jim Thorpe did.
Yes.
More than that. Like, that was a weird kind of angle because it wasn't them that came up with it. Yeah. Like, it was the coach.
It was the coach who actually put the plays out. They're the ones that
and because he had such awesome athletes on his team.
Yeah.
And the fact that they showed up all the Ivy League schools and everything, that's great stuff. And I would have liked, and I like the fact that they focused on that, but this weird, like every now and then it's like, oh, and then it's like, huh?
Yeah.
Throughout the whole documentary for me. Having said, on the whole, there is so much that I didn't know that now I've learned. It's definitely a discussion starter. I think that a lot of people that have a certain point of view by watching this film, it might skew their point of view a little bit to the better.
Hopefully.
And then there's other people that, you're just never going to change their mind.
No. I don't know how many times that we in Canada, I'm not sure about the States, but in Canada, we've got Truth and Reconciliation it started 20 years ago and it's gone nowhere still. So that pisses me off to no ends. And I think to myself that, the points that they're trying to make in that film, I really wish this was a miniseries. I really do. I would think they could have taken 2 hours on each one of those points, because when you talk about the fashion, for example,
they could have done an hour on each of them
at least. I feel.
Yeah. And I don't think it needed to be more than an hour.
Well, but they only were stuck on the one point, so I think they would.
They could have got, but
they would have got more.
They still could have done it. Anyways, it doesn't matter how long.
An hour and 47 minutes per.
An hour
episode.
An hour and 47 minutes per episode is insane. But I digress. I'll be the first to admit, though, there were some things in this where it made me look at things a little bit different.
100%.
And I'd like to think that I'm fairly enlightened, but I had some learning to do. And then, after this, I did look into some certain things because I just want to say, I'm like, really? Is that? And you know what? Documentary's pretty accurate on everything.
Yeah.
After doing a little research, it's like, huh.
The one that opened my eyes the most, the one that I was most like, I was kind of going down a path within the movie, was in the fashion section, because it's like you don't realize the things that you're doing, how it affects other people from a cultural appropriation scenario, like with fashion in particular, where these, and I still don't think it's where it was. Like, that was one of the pieces that in the fashion section that I was a little disappointed is because there's still, to me, it's still appropriation of their dress and their garb, but now that because Indigenous people are actually being partnered with it, it's better.
I
don't think that
it's kind of like what the point we were trying to make, that what would have made the Scorsese movie better is if he maybe co-directed it with an Indigenous. Yeah. But to be honest, I think we'd both just rather watch the Indigenous version.
Yes.
But that's the thing. We're at we got to take these steps before we get to where we want to go, and and the first step might be these partnerships, and then we can go from there. But because that's just the way society goes.
But it's
too much too quick sometimes just doesn't fly.
No, people go, what are you trying to do? Yeah. Like, the one piece that I think everybody could take away was there's some designs that the fashion world came out with, which are not things that are technically supposed to be shared.
Yeah,
it's a very spiritual dress that is worn, and it gets that's a really cool exploited. That's a completely cool design. Yeah. I mean, it is a bit of an homage to the Indigenous communities, but it's kind of like, someone walking around with an upside down cross walking through the Catholic space, or I don't know, something equivalent to the Muslim community, where it's like you can really offend people if you don't do certain things. So, I think the message, though, is that, let's fix this shit. Like, let's get it right.
Yeah.
Stop with this fucking tomahawk chop shit. That's just
that's
ridiculous. Just brutal. Yeah. All right. Well,
I still think the Chiefs should just change their name to the Chefs. Why not?
Yeah. They also chop stuff as a chef.
Exactly. Then they could do the chop, but it'd be
like a chef.
But then they're chopping vegetables, chopping carrots and broccoli.
That's right.
My lady,
chopping
she went downtown. She bought some broccoli. She brought it home. And now she's chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. She's chopping broccoli.
Totally. Imagine at the football game seeing that. Chopping broccoli.
That'd be awesome.
Totally.
All right.
All right. Well, this last week, so that catches us up to this week.
Yes.
And we're only 20 minutes in. So we saw the Bikeriders.
The Bikeriders.
Yeah. I have Murray's rating on this. I did get that.
Okay.
So the Murray gave this a high meh.
A high meh?
He did. And the reason he gave it a high meh is that he really liked all the acting and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't like motorcycles, so that's why it's only a high meh. He says if he wouldn't like motorcycles, it would have been a Mondo.
That's so Murray.
I know, right? So, biopic, period piece, motorcycle. Oh, sorry. That's not what I want to say. I want to say biopic, period piece, motorcycles. Oh, my. This cast is so motherfucking brilliant. Every single character in it was so well defined, full of complexity, but at the same time, really quite simple. The mesmerizing Tom Hardy is just that. And Michael Shannon and Austin Butler were fantastic. But the only one in this who could have even come close to Hardy's performance was Jodie Comer.
My God,
Comer?
Jamie. I think it's Comer.
Comer, who plays Kathy, who ultimately is the viewpoint of this film. The dialogue is poignant and at times hilarious, mostly because of how they talked back then in time, because you hear the dialogue and you're like, that's exactly how they probably would have talked, which made it funny. And also because of what the story is about. The music and score are so amazing, almost like listening to an original jukebox of the time is how I felt as I was listening to this as it was going along. The story is simple, but the characters are so deep and well crafted. This film had me captivated by its honesty and portrait of the times and the place in the 1960s and 70s. I loved every single frame of this movie. I loved this film. I loved how it ended. I liked how it was told. I liked the story of the who's the artist who actually was the photographer who worked with this particular gang for on and off for 10, 15 years. So yeah, I love this film. It was Mondo.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff Nichols directed it. I was kind of blown away.
Yeah.
I was, especially as you mentioned, Jodie Comer. Everybody in this was so good. Who knew Austin Butler could
act that good?
But
what's his name from The Walking Dead? What's his name? The Sonny
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus was brilliant.
Yeah,
this is the
funny
best Norman,
Sonny.
Funny Sonny. That was the best I've ever seen Norman Reedus.
So, as an aside here, who else on the is Michael Shannon still on the mesmerizing list?
No.
Okay, so then there was no mesmerized off.
No.
But Jodie Comer, oh my God, she was so. I mean, Tom Hardy's Tom Hardy, and as good as Jodie Comer was amazing, but Tom Hardy's still Tom Hardy.
You can't.
Because I was at one point at the beginning of this movie, I was like, is Tom Hardy getting out mesmerized
right now?
Because I was like, wow. And by the end, it's like, no, he's still even when he's silent, he's just
silent but deadly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is it's an amazing little film. It takes place over about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, maybe even a span of 10.
It's probably I know nothing about motorcycle culture. Nothing.
Yeah, me neither.
But I feel like I do now.
Yeah, totally, right?
And I don't know that I've seen a movie in a long time that I'm completely naive to it.
Yeah.
But I believe that this was completely authentic.
Yeah.
It feels, every frame of this feels so authentic. And that's...
Especially the dialogue.
The dialogue, the powerful performances from everybody in it. The direction was great. The pacing was great. The music was fantastic. It was just like...
It was just like a jukebox.
It was like a
really
jukebox.
Was.
Yeah, it just took you from one scene to the other, and I love this movie as well.
Now, what has he done before?
Jeff Nichols?
Yeah,
That's a good question. Let's take a look.
because he's this was
Yeah,
freaking
he's shown some like, I don't know if you remember Mud with what's his head.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Mud was Mondo for me.
Yeah, Mud was Mondo. Take Shelter was also Mondo. That was with Michael Shannon.
Yeah. Surprisingly, it was Mondo.
Yeah. Midnight Special. What was Midnight Special?
Is that the one where they're in a prison?
Because he's done, basically he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a director. And we might be considering this guy as undoubted. Midnight Special, it stars...
Yeah, it has Michael Shannon in it and Adam Driver in it.
Right.
It was also Mondo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he has 8 films.
No, I think he's got 5. And then he's also got Loving. What was Loving? Oh yeah, Loving was Mondo. That was the one with what's her head with just an unbelievable performance.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Ruth Negga.
He
Oh my God, she was so good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Wow. Okay. So
he's
someone
on
to watch.
deck. He's on deck.
Because that's 5 Mondos.
And he's young. Like he's young.
He's a baby.
He's a baby, so we should get all kinds of new stuff from him. I want this to take off.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to everything he puts out. As I say, and you know what the thing with every one of these movies is they all just feel so authentic. Like every single one that we've said, it just feels so authentic.
They do. So here's the thing. It's because he understands character development.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the flaws by most directors. And it for me, it usually takes it from a Mondo down to a Matt if the story is still good. But, well, you know me, I can watch a terrible movie, but if there's really good character development, it can make it to Mondo for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm feeling those characters, like we've seen movies where you get 5 minutes of a scene with one person, and you can almost tell their whole story in that 5 minutes, because there was a lot of characters in this, and that's how I felt with every single one of the characters in this. I knew them all intimately.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
No, it was absolutely excellent.
All right. Well, let's move from that into maybe one that's not quite as excellent. What do you think?
If we're comparing the Exorcism to the Bikeriders,
They both had the word "the" in it.
yeah, and that's about where the comparison should stop, and they shouldn't be said in the same sentence ever again.
No.
Because one was tremendous.
Well, just wait. Don't spoil anything.
And one was even better. But what did you think first, Jim?
Okay. So, first off, Murray gave The Exorcism
Yes.
a low man.
Really?
Mostly because of the last 30 minutes, which was kind of the reason that it was also... Anyway. But it also had his boy Russell Crowe in it. So, you know, his
Rusty Crowe.
Good old Rusty.
I don't even know what to say about this movie. This movie's a mess.
They're doing a remake of The Exorcist, but they can't say that.
No.
I guess.
Yeah.
But while doing it, Malik the demon shows up and possesses Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
But really, really slowly.
Well, before that, he
over a couple of hours.
Yeah, but he possessed somebody else before that.
Yeah, who
in like the first scene, he possessed someone who was playing the same character.
Yeah, so
apparently, if anybody that plays this character is going to
get possessed, I guess that's.
I guess I don't know. I don't know what
could be. Yeah. Well, all the while, slowly over a couple of hours, he gets possessed. While he deals with his past of getting raped by a priest, and his wife dies, and his daughter is back and kicked out of school, but now she is living with him after he was drunk and went through rehab. We get the patented demon crackling, and you remember that was the best scene in the movie.
Well, it was for
It had me very excited.
You were excited.
I knew it was coming. I said, the crackling is a coming.
Mm-hmm.
And when it happened... If I could have done cartwheels, if I could have done the Exorcist walk on my fingers behind my back down the stairs, that's exactly what I would have done.
There you go.
So yeah, we get demon crackling, we get demon magic, we get Jesus cross magic, Catholic magic. Niles Crane comes back to Hollywood to play a priest version of his character.
Why did he come back for this? But it was nice to see him.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. But he basically plays Niles Crane on Fraser.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Russell does his best as a bad dad, rehabbing actor. And the cast, they were all okay. Like, I didn't hate any.
It was weird.
I didn't really hate any of the cast. The movie was just really, really boring. And half the time, the scenes didn't fit well together.
No.
But the worst thing about
it's a mess.
It is that we got Russell Crowe in a demon movie.
Yeah.
And there is not one scooter sighting.
No.
So for that reason alone, this is a rage.
Oh, okay.
And I've got some unpacking to do. But if you're going to put motherfucking Russell Crowe in a motherfucking demon movie, the rule is scooter, Mondo.
Yeah.
No scooter, rage.
So in this movie, I was so confused. What was Sam Worthington doing there? Like, did he take over the role from Russell Crowe? Like, I didn't even know what was going on.
At the end, I think they were going to do that.
Yeah,
but,
so
what was he there?
Is that
before?
a normal thing that you got your... This isn't a play. You don't have an understudy.
I don't know.
Like, what?
But I think he was a character in the movie.
He was a character in the movie, and then they made him. They pushed him into
this is just another one of the things about this movie.
I was very confused.
They don't
by
know
that.
anything, or that.
And they were like buddy. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on.
Like they didn't. There was really nothing explained, and there's scenes where it goes from one scene to the next scene. Like at the end when it's like, okay, now Niles and his daughter and whatever's locked up, and it was like, what? Yeah. She's like, it was just like scenes where all of a sudden magically there.
I hated every single thing about this movie except
what?
Adam Goldberg as Peter the director.
Yeah.
Adam Goldberg.
Yeah, he was good.
He was very good, and he has 2 scenes in this that he is so good in. But that is nowhere near enough to make this recommendable on by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
This is a piece of garbage. The fact that it didn't get released for who the hell knows how long, but apparently this is one of those ones that
sitting on the fence for 5 years.
Yeah, that just sat there collecting dust, and
somebody
then finally
edited it over COVID.
Yeah, and then they've decided, well, we did spend the money to get Russell Crowe in it, so I guess we should probably try and release it and get something back for it.
Yeah. This was he was skinnier, Russell Crowe, in this. It was that long ago.
He wasn't that skinny.
But he's certainly a lot skinnier than the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, he wasn't as bloated as he was in the Pope's Exorcist.
I mean, maybe the scooter scene wouldn't have been as good. Maybe that's why they edited the scooter scene out, because it wouldn't have been nearly as funny.
This was garbage. This was rage.
Yeah.
This was so bad. I hated this movie. What did you want to unpack? Because it just... By the way, what was with the relationship between the daughter and the lead actress? Was that supposed to be like a lesbian thing?
Yeah, it was a totally lesbian thing.
Okay, and what purpose was that serving?
It just so they could have some LGBTQ.
Okay, because that didn't feel forced at all.
No, it didn't feel forced at all.
Okay.
It was like, and how old is she? Like, this girl's 16. Like, are you now a pedophile?
I know,
like,
exactly. I was like, I didn't. I was weird.
And then the scene, like, they kind of inferred that Russell Crowe had molested his daughter too.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what they were going for. I'm not sure I got that vibe. I think he was just
because there was
drunk.
a couple of scenes where it was like, all of a sudden the devil was going to molest her, but then just some of the other scenes, there was inferences of a bunch of stuff in here.
I was probably
that was just. Maybe you were sleeping.
I don't. I was trying to pay attention. I really was.
I tried so hard.
I couldn't connect the dots.
But nothing was connecting.
Man.
I was so confused.
I tell you. All right. Well, that was a rage.
The other one we got to see was I Am Celine Dion.
Oh, okay. I Am Celine Dion.
Yes.
So I'm watching this thing.
Yes.
And I'm very confused. I'm like, what sort of picture are they trying to paint of Celine Dion? So here's the thing.
Yes.
The stiff person syndrome.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. That stuff is like super interesting.
Yes.
The fact that she was willing to show herself in certain distressful situations
was
amazing.
Yes.
And for that, she should be commended because she's definitely shining a light on this disease.
Yep.
As rare as it may be.
Yep.
It still deserves to have. But here's the thing. For that, you think, okay, you feel sympathy for Celine Dion. But then we follow that up with forced little bits of her vacuuming. Why in the... who believes that Celine Dion's going around vacuuming? And then followed by that, they're sitting and one of her kids is playing Wii, and then the other kid is being served a restaurant quality ice cream milkshake. Well, I don't understand. Like, am I supposed to like her? Because after these scenes, I kind of hate her. And then we get a tour of the warehouse with all her shoes and every costume she's ever had.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? If you want me to sympathize with her, why are you showing me all this garbage?
I don't want to say anything yet. I have thoughts on this.
Does this director actually secretly hate Celine Dion? And he's like, okay, I do want to spread some light on this, but I also want to show that she lives in Celine Dion world, and things that she thinks is completely normal is not normal.
But see, I actually appreciated that. To me, I might have some commentary around this.
Okay.
But
anyways, I'll just finish by just saying, like, I thought that this was just such an uneven documentary because I went from going, wow, this is really interesting, to, wow, I really don't like Celine Dion because she's just really annoying. And the fact that one thing that I'm grateful for, and it was going to make me rage, was the fact that they just kind of glazed over the whole relationship with what's his head.
Yes, but because they know
Pierre
that that's a hot
Francois
topic.
or
hot topic.
Yeah. So it was nice that they did, because we didn't need that in this documentary that's trying to shed some light on an illness. But I'm trying to figure out whether the stuff that I learned, you know what? In a weird way, I enjoyed it because I enjoyed hating Celine Dion, and I enjoyed respecting the fact that she would show herself vulnerable like this.
Yep.
So both parts I enjoyed for different reasons.
So it's meh.
It's meh.
All right. Okay, so I know basically nothing about Celine Dion and her life prior to seeing this doc. What I did know was that she had one of the most diverse ranges of voice of all singers in the world. She is a Canadian, and that she was a victim of a pedophile groomer from the age of 12. These are the things that I know about Celine Dion. So, she was a show business victim, just like a lot of child stars who grow up in a world of wealth and stardom, not seen by most people. In this film, if you are looking to know all about Celine Dion, you will be sadly mistaken. I do know a little bit more about her, but this, I feel, was more a film about her going through therapy, ultimately saying goodbye to her fans. That's what I felt. Yeah. In this, she shows a lot of vulnerability and intimacy about where she is at right now. And through that, I'll put a pin in that to talk about the point of why they show. So she lived in this bubble from the age of maybe 13.
Oh, yeah.
Because
they make that clear when
she's
I have traveled the world, but I've never really seen the world.
Which is probably,
absolutely true.
That we hear that from musicians all the time.
Yeah,
they don't get a chance.
It's more so with her, probably, because I guarantee she just lived in a hotel room for for 30 years.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
All right, go ahead.
In fact, in some scenes, it's almost too much. For such a public figure, she has a ton of scenes where she is out of makeup and does a ton of crying. Mm-hmm. This was really her at her most raw and I would say unfiltered. But this is a movie, so I'm assuming we got scenes they wanted us to see.
Filtered, unfiltered.
Exactly. Again, I know nothing about her, but this doc shows us that she is a kind and loving and caring person to her family and to her staff. And I've seen her act, and I know she can't. So I believe that she may be that person.
I believe that.
As a singer, I don't like her voice.
No.
I actually don't like the tone of her voice. That's what I don't like.
No.
I do respect that she is a very talented performer, akin to why people who like opera singers, which I also don't really care too much for. But her voice isn't for me. If someone said, hey, Jim, one day you will see a movie about Celine Dion, I would have said, no, I will not be watching a movie about Celine Dion. No, that is not something I would do. Because in this case, her voice already makes me cry, but not for the same reason, from sadness.
Yes.
But she, in fact, did make me cry in this film. I felt so sorry for her, where she is at and what she's going through. One of the last scenes in this movie got me to tears. Overall, I was convinced before I saw this, I would absolutely hate it. Just like I do her voice. But it didn't.
Nope.
I thought this was a really good journey of seeing her so attached to things like her warehouse of crap. And I felt, and I don't think the director did a really good job at this, but bringing her to a point in her life where it's like that, none of that matters. And I think that's the journey that I liked. I just don't think the director did a good job of that. I think he could have done a better job of that. Because
if that's the journey that you took, that's not the journey I took.
Yes.
And so then the director failed me.
Yes, he did. But I think there's enough in there, like the
because
fact of showing
it felt choppy to me because they're showing this and then they're showing that, and there's no tie between them really. It's just, look at how wonderful, my lifestyle is, and look at this. And then in the next scene, as I say, when they started showing her vacuuming, I was like, this is too much.
But you know what? That's what I think is like, it's part of the therapy.
And then right after they show her vacuuming, the servant serves a restaurant quality milkshake to her son. It's like what is going on?
But that's just it. Like, you think of this person, like she's one, like we know people that are stars and their whole life is so regimented and routine. Probably for her to vacuum, it's therapy, part of her therapy now. Like to me, I felt that, and I felt really I've never liked her singing.
I hear that Prince lived in Prince land too, so she lives in Celine land.
Yeah, of course she does. But you know what? They showed what she was like with her family, and she came from a family of love. Like
there's no question. Although I don't know. I kind of hate her kids.
Her kids are just kids. Like how can you judge them?
Because they're spoiled.
Yeah, of course they're going to be spoiled. Their mom is motherfucking Celine Dion.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to spoil them.
But she still was.
But you know what?
Her kids still respected her.
They're her kids. I shouldn't comment.
Yeah, you don't have kids. You spoil your dog.
No, I don't.
Dude. Give your head a shake. You spoiled that dog. Your little brat dog is so rotten because he's so spoiled.
Whatever.
But I didn't find the kids were that rotten. I just thought, you know what, they're kids that have a parent that is multi-wealthy, right? And who's also a victim. And we saw, we know that.
Where she comes and sits down and eats beside her kid, and her kid's just like slumped in front of the computer.
Nice.
With his
other kids.
With his video game cabinets behind him.
Oh my God, he had the sweetest setup.
Who lives like this?
Celine Dion's kids. Twins, actually.
Okay, maybe I'm just jealous.
Yeah, that's ultimately what it is, I'm feeling. You know that the most important thing about this, though, was that we saw a movie with Celine Dion and we didn't hate it.
Yeah, which is freaking amazing. Like, it's absolutely amazing. Like, if someone asked me, should I watch this movie? I'd say, yeah.
I think you should.
You should.
I think so too.
If someone said, you know what, I really don't like Celine Dion, should I watch this movie? I'd say, yeah.
You should.
You probably should.
Yeah. It's changed my opinion of her. Although I didn't, like, here's the thing. You and I are both the same in that.
Yeah.
We have no clue about what's happening in stars' lives.
No.
All we see is what...
And I don't care for the most part.
For the most part, we don't.
She does have a story worth telling now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, that scene where she's getting the massage and she goes into her... That's the scene that I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah, I wasn't bawling at all, but I was like, oh, wow. Because they open with that in this movie.
Yeah.
And they just kind of touch upon it, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then that's the one thing the director did well. I like the fact that he opened with that
Yep.
and then came back to it extended
Yep.
at the end.
Yep.
And that was actually done really well. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of good in this, and it is worth watching. But it's still meh.
Yeah, I'm also not going to listen to any Celine Dion music after this.
No.
Not at all. All right, well, that pretty much takes us to the end of the films we saw new in cinema. So that was a slog. 5. And seeing what's coming out this coming weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to watch
I don't know either.
'Cause I'm not
You've
gonna
got a
be
challenge
around.
ahead of you.
I don't know. I'll have to become a master scheduler because somehow I wish, maybe I just got to not go to work.
Call in sick.
I can't really do that on a long weekend. People raise eyebrows.
Nice.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
My sweet, sweet rage. How I love you so. All right, my rage this week is fucking kids in fucking movie theaters because they don't shut the fuck up the entire movie. Like, kids are worse. Like, we've been into movie theaters where adults are fucking idiots. But when kids are there, they just can't help it because they're complete idiots. So we go and see Inside Out 2.
Right.
And there's all these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls watching this.
There were a lot of them.
And they were just talking nonstop through the entire movie.
Were they?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Well, normally I don't. And I tuned it out after a while, but it's just like, shut up already.
All right.
That's my rage. It's a pretty simple one. Otherwise, the other one might have been, I didn't get enough Scooter, but I mean, that's a given. And if we found out that
you got no Scooter.
I got
my
no
friend.
Scooter. That's right. And we found out there is going to be a Pope's Exorcist 2. And if there's no Scooter in that, Russell Crowe, you better watch yourself because that's heading for a rage.
My rage isn't huge rage this week, but I am just disappointed in the movie theater's ability to clean up between movies these days.
They don't.
They don't.
It's not a thing.
It used to be a huge thing, and it was even kicked up a notch during COVID. It was kind of nice where they
spraying stuff.
Yeah, which I don't care about the spraying stuff, but they were really cleaning the cinema, and now I don't think there's times where there's literally garbage just there. Yeah. There's popcorn on
rotting
the seats.
Food.
There's and I just don't understand. It's not that difficult. It doesn't take a long time. You go in, you clean up. It's like a 5-minute job tops. If you do it really well, it's 5 minutes. I swear to God, they just walk up and down the aisle, just look left and right, and go, it looks all right.
There's
leave.
a bag, I'll take it. Otherwise,
yeah, exactly. But they're not looking and every now and then I'll sit down and I'll actually have my cup holder will be sticky, and it's like, really?
Yeah. You don't even know what that sticky is. We're sitting in the back row. So
I just paid, my $9.99 because I'm part of the Cine Club or what's the other one?
Also
the
Cine
Movie
Club,
Lovers.
maybe? Whatever.
I'm part of this, so by $9.99, I should at least get a seat where it's not covered in crap.
I think they say if you're only paying $9.99, you're lucky to have a seat, bitch.
Okay,
that's what they're saying. And I think the other thing is, when we were at the one movie this last week, there was one person selling popcorn. like by herself.
By herself.
Because they don't have the people
Well, that's-
anymore.
and
Because
that- and
there's not
that's-
enough
it-
people going to movie theaters.
Well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, there's not enough people cleaning. There's not enough people at the concessions.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because there's not enough people going to the movies. So
Yeah.
we need more people going to the movies so they can hire some help, and some help that you're going to give a crap.
Yeah, 100%.
Because right
So
now,
ultimately, the rage is at the viewing public who are happy watching these movies on their TVs at home.
yeah, I guess
They're 20-inch
in a
black and white
in a
TVs.
roundabout way.
Right. Let's call a spade a spade.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Do we have anything for the list?
No, I don't think so. Murray was going to give us something, but because we got a long weekend here in Canada, and because you're going camping or glamping or whatever,
It's not. No, it's camping. Trust me.
it's not glamping.
Oh, not in
There's
any
no
way.
glam at all.
No, we're
So
sleeping
you're
on the
not
ground,
you're
man.
not camping like Celine Dion would.
No, we're not camping like Celine Dion. We
Oh, okay.
we are pitching a tent. We are sleeping on the ground in sleeping bags.
Nice. It's gonna rain. You know that.
And
right?
I'm pretty sure the place that we're going is a cult. Pretty sure.
Nice. Well, just send me the
So
address before you
I am
leave.
going to send a few people the address because if you don't hear from me by like next Wednesday,
Yep.
I need you to send out a posse because I don't know what's going to go on there.
I'll go and register my name to buy a gun, and then within 2 or 3 weeks,
I mean,
I'll have a gun.
We made our reservation with some guy named like Moonbeam Solaris Sunrise or something.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I already like
it
this.
used to be. It used to be Man Woman that had the show who had a tattoo of a vagina on his forehead apparently.
What?
But now he's died. But he was also
Vagina Head is dead?
yeah, vagina. So I don't know what's gonna happen here. But we're going there, and we're gonna play some disc golf.
I'm excited to hear how this goes. I'm
So-
not gonna lie.
Yeah. So yeah.
So just for everybody, because next week Bryce will have limited access to technology.
I'm gonna try to watch what I can.
I'm
but
trying to see if he's going to see as many movies as I see next week.
But
on
not
top
likely.
of that, he's not going to get much streaming. So next week we will not have a Rage or Dare,
Yeah, that's
and we
gonna-
will
yeah.
not have anything for the list unless something comes out that we need to put somebody forward. So
all right.
yeah, so
So are you still gonna do the? I guess we'll wait until the Rage or Dare segment,
Yeah.
which is coming up right now.
yeah.
Last week on Rage or Dare, the boys were dared by one of our podcast brethren, Sir Jimbo from the podcast Cast a Roll, to see the Samurai Cop film called Samurai Cop. What a truly excellent name, since it tells you everything you really need to know about the movie, ties it all together. This week, apparently no one else dared us to see anything. You know, listeners, it doesn't take much to dare these guys to see things. Just send them 5 loonies and tell them what terrible film you want them to see. Oh, loonies are Canadian dollar coins. They have a duck on them or something like that. And you can just put 5 of them in an envelope and just write Film Rage, care of Canada. It'll be sure to get there. Or if you would rather use US dollars, it's about $2.50. I guess we must now turn back to the regular grind, choosing films that will make us rage. Day after day after day until we slowly fade into nothingness. So I guess it's Bryce's turn to rage or dare or Casey. Come on, Bryce! Alright, now let's find out if Samurai Cop is as awesome as it sounds. I can't think of any movie title that sounds anywhere near as awesome as this. Cops and samurais? Whee!
All right.
You know what? I freaking love that man so much. He's like just the best person on the planet. And I know everybody, so that just proves it. So,
You don't know.
I have no idea what was happening in this, for lack of a better word, film. There is all these different people going places and doing things. And I know at one point, Peggy was in a helicopter, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty positive she was in a helicopter. And then there was a drug deal, I think. And then there was some people doing, I think it was kung fu, but then there was smarter people who brought a gun to a kung fu fight, so they just shot them. And then there's this guy who has a huge wig-like hair. I can't even explain why his hair looks like that, but it does. So he's driving places and shooting is happening. And then this guy fell out of the back of this van, and the hair dude runs over to him and keeps saying, shoot him, shoot him. And he says, shoot him a lot, like a lot of times.
Shoot him a lot.
And then I was confused again. And that pretty much lasted the entire movie that I was confused. But then we also got sexy time with Hair Guy.
We got a lot of sexy time.
Where there was boobies and a G-string. Yeah, so she's having sex with him while she's wearing a G-string. She didn't even take it off. He just rammed it in right past the G-string, I think, unless he took it with him. And this is like, we're only 15 minutes into this, and I'm like, what's happening? I kind of felt like the director wanted to direct a porno, but either didn't know how that works, or maybe the actors, for lack of a better word, didn't want to have sex, so they made them do samurai cop things. That's my best guess. With random shots of the sides of people's heads and acting dialogue and story that I couldn't follow if my life depended on it. His partner, who happens to be black, is always talking about getting his ass burnt. And then the hair guy, aka samurai cop, will usually say, his ass is already black. And then they both laugh. And then there's more fighting, more sexy time, more kung fu, more shooting and driving and going places. But what's most interesting was when I first watched this on Tubi, and then I fell asleep. But then I woke up and didn't realize until I was about halfway through it that I was actually now starting to watch Samurai Cop 2. So I kept watching, and although I was just as confused as when I thought I was only watching part 1, I was just so completely confused at both films.
Okay.
Ultimately, it didn't really matter. I couldn't follow whatever the story they were trying to convey. With all the confusion, bad editing, bad acting, bad FX, bad continuity, bad script, bad filming, bad sound, bad stunts, death scenes, and ultimately bad every single list that is included in any film closing credits. I had no clue what was happening through this entire movie, but I can tell you one thing. I loved every single minute of this movie. It is completely ridiculous. It was 100% Mondo. I love this movie. It was terrible.
No but, or no, I'm kidding. No,
it's awful. This movie's terrible. But I did enjoy watching it. I'm not gonna lie. There was points in this I was literally confused through the whole movie. It's a rage, but I truly loved watching this movie.
It's a very confusing watch.
I didn't know anything that was happening.
No, I didn't know anything was happening. The microcosm for me of this whole movie is there's a scene where the dude actually is on fire.
Yeah, that was
okay. And when the fire when the fire goes out, you actually see the stuntman literally look up at the camera, looks nothing like the other guy, like he's not even the same ethnicity, and he literally looks up at the camera like clear as can be, and they don't even edit it out.
No.
They just leave it. That's this whole movie. It's just completely half-assed the whole way through. And you're right. I think this guy wanted to make a porno film.
Yeah.
And just got into it. It's like, what? Nobody's willing to have sex on camera?
You mean I can't show penetration?
Yeah. So I don't know what was going on. It was very, very confusing. But yeah, just shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him.
I was just
it's like, what is... What? Oh my God. This movie is... And the funny thing is I'm sitting there watching it. My girlfriend's parents are here.
You're watching it with them?
I wasn't watching it with them per se, but I put it on in the morning and they happened to walk into the room.
During sexy time?
Yeah, at one point. Yeah, that was part of what I don't think her mother watched at all, but her... Did
her dad give you a high five and go...
Her dad's just like, what are you like, this is awful. And then like 3 days later, he's like, why would you watch something like that? I was like, cause I had to.
Wait, wait, let's just go back there, because sadness, embarrassment had a baby, and
Yes.
it's called Fetish.
Yes. And Fetish made a movie called Samurai Cop.
No. It's because you and I have a fetish for bad, horrible movies.
I see.
For the rage that inspires us.
Yeah, this guy Matt Hannon, the actor that plays Joe Marshall, Captain Hare, he's just like, wow.
Just wow is right.
Just wow. And the off-color humor through the whole thing.
I know, right?
I mean, don't get me wrong. At some point, I'm sure 3 or 4 times I laughed because
there was some funny stuff.
There was some funny stuff, and there's so much of it. I mean, if you throw enough crap against the wall, some of it's gonna stick. But this was awful. This was a rage. It was just so freaking bad.
Well done, Sir Jimbo.
Yes.
Well played. All right, little mister. Now, we won't be coming back next week for a rage, but you still got to pick something.
Do I?
Yeah, what do you want? Whose bucket do you want?
What are my options again?
You've got audience stare bag.
Okay.
You've got Casey's.
Casey's there, yeah.
You've got the Merman's bag of rage. Looks like Merman's got a bunch of stuff in there.
Oh, has he got stuff in there?
But not as much as I've got in mine. Look at all that good stuff. You know how much you like my stuff. Okay, which one?
You know what? Just because there's so much of it, I'll take my chance with something. With all that's in there's got to be a few good ones in there.
Yeah.
They all can't.
I'm pretty
crap.
sure there's something in there that you'll give a Mondo to. In fact,
Maybe.
you know what? I think I intentionally put a movie in there that is a Mondo just to surprise you
Oh.
as a gift.
No, you didn't. You lie.
I did not.
All right. Okay, I have pulled something out of Jim's bag of rage.
Yes, let's have it.
Oh, for Christ's sake. This is the movie that I actually saw in the theaters, and I thought I was going to Big Top Pee-wee. Yeah, Big Top Pee-wee. And we were sitting there.
Yep.
And we're sitting there in the audience. I must have been, I don't know, maybe 12, maybe 13.
Yep.
And the movie comes on, and all of a sudden Tom Cruise is on the screen. And my buddy Nan, he leans over to me and he goes, "That's not Pee-wee."
No.
And I'm like, "No,
Although
it's not."
he is kind of a little Pee-wee guy.
We were in Cocktail.
Yes, you were in Cocktail.
Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama.
Okay, so do you know what the funniest thing about this story is?
No.
Is that you told me that story.
Oh, did I?
Yes, that's why I put cocktails. In fact, you don't realize this, but when you give me these nuggets through our life together, I remember them, and I put them in stuff so that I knew you'd have to watch Cocktail.
I would rather not watch Cocktail.
Yeah, well, you're going to, and you're gonna also wish it was. Big
It's like
Top
this.
Pee-wee.
Like, who even writes this crap?
It's so terrible. The only thing worse than Cocktail from Tom Cruise is, of course, his Maverick collection.
Yes. Ugh.
But you know what this has on IMDb? A 5.9.
Yeah, it's probably the highest, one of the highest rated ones in your bag, according to IMDb.
Yeah, well, you know what? I realize that IMDb is not Bryce. So
No, it's not.
it's, as we like to say, winner a winner,
All right.
vegan
So
chicken dinner.
the good news is I got 2 weeks to watch it.
That's right. Yeah, you can put this pain away
I
for
can
quite
postpone
some
it
time.
for a little bit.
Yep.
All right, sir.
I am so looking forward to that.
I'm sure you are.
Tee. Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, our god of rage, from the Nerdy Photographer, for the voice of Rage or Dare. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, or send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dares to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 make us rage.
John.